I've had conversations with people about it, and it's like, Jesus, like just trying to get the documents, like when they're trying to get the Epstein files, like the state of New York, one of the district attorneys was hiding documents that have forced them to give documents. I think there's so many fucking powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied. Air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy party? Have you been paying attention to the trial?
Oh yeah.
Trials. Wild.
With Ghislaine, with Epstein, with Diddy. Either Diddy's gonna commit suicide, either he's going to be hiding somewhere that we won't hear about for many, many years, or he's gonna be O.J. Simpson and he'll be released and said, I told you I was as innocent. I told you nothing happened. I told you I was this. Or he's gonna go to jail and spend the rest of his life in jail. Not likely, because he has access to a lot of information on a lot of people that make a lot of money for people in Hollywood. Do they want those people to be gone?
The case surrounding Sean Diddy Combs is unraveling quickly, and with each passing day, shocking new revelations and high-profile names, like Cassie Ventura, are being dragged into the spotlight. What started as a lawsuit by Cassie has blown open a much darker, more disturbing narrative. This is no longer just a story of personal misconduct. It's starting to look like a vast web of control, manipulation, and secrecy. The scale and depth of the allegations have led many to draw comparisons to the infamous Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
Is not just about sex trafficking one victim, and it's just about more than sex trafficking. The RICO, feds are accusing him of multiple acts of kidnapping, arson, witness tampering, bribery, forced labor, intent to distribute narcotics, and more.
Diddy's case has been in the headlines for months, but now it's taking a much darker and more sinister turn. The deeper the investigation goes, the more it seems Diddy wasn't operating alone. Whispers of a hidden network, much like the one linked to Epstein, are getting louder. People are starting to ask, is there a powerful lobby working behind the scenes to protect him? Could they be pulling strings to make everything disappear? Or will they turn on him the moment he becomes a liability? The stakes are higher than ever, and the conspiracy appears to run deep. Now, the story takes an even more chilling twist. Patrick Bet-David, PBD, has stirred controversy by pointing out something that many consider too strange to be a coincidence. The lead prosecutor in Diddy's case is the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey, a man recently in the spotlight for what some believe was a veiled comment alluding to the assassination of Donald Trump. To make things even murkier, the previous prosecutor, Damian Williams, mysteriously stepped down. There are rumors he was quietly pushed out. The burning question is, why? And who really stands to gain from all this? The deeper you dig, the more obvious it becomes. This is no longer just about Diddy.
There's way too many things that are coming out right now, especially when you think about the lead prosecutor. It was supposed to be Damian Williams, who he resigns December of 2024. He says, no, I'm not going to be dealing with this case on Epstein. And he's been on the Epstein, on Diddy, and he's been on the lead prosecutor for Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and a lot of other things. And then the person that replaces the lead prosecutor to prosecute Diddy is Maureen Comey. Maureen Comey is the daughter of James Comey. James Comey, just a week ago, posted 8647. He found these beautiful shells, you know, seashells that says 86 accidentally. Of course, he would never do such a thing. And he posts these 8647 shells, and then his daughter is the lead prosecutor for Diddy. And Diddy has all this information to us.
Patrick Bet-David took things a step further, asking a question that's now echoing across the internet. Could the Diageo connection have been the very shield that protected Diddy for nearly 2 decades? For over 17 years, he's allegedly been involved in disturbing activities, yet not a single major case stuck. Why? PBD suggests this might not be luck. Maybe Diddy was protected all along.
Diddy sues Diageo. Diddy filed a lawsuit accusing Diageo of neglecting the De Leon brand, racial discrimination, claiming they marketed it as an urban product and failed to treat him as a true business partner. Then in January 2024, they settled out of court. Diageo and Diego settled the dispute out of court. While details still remain sealed, the settlement marked the end of their business relationship. So this is from 2007 to 2024, 17 years. Could they have protected him? I don't know. Their CEO currently today is Deborah Ann Crew. She was a former intelligence officer in the military. Once intelligence officer, forever you're an intelligence officer. Who knows what happened? We don't know the relationship. We're not going to make any accusations. All we know is, could this have been a protection?
And once that protection, possibly tied to his powerful business relationship with Diageo, was removed following a lawsuit and a quiet settlement, the floodgates opened. Just 2 months after that confidential deal was finalized, Diddy's home was raided. The timing feels too perfect to be a coincidence. Was Diageo the silent shield all along? And once it fell, did the powers that be decide it was finally open season on Diddy?
They were at the parties and they knew things that were taking place and are like, wait, what do you want to do to us? No problem. Boom, drop the bomb. I don't know. All I'm saying is the timing is kind of strange. Maybe even they wanted to kind of be like, look, we know what's about to be dropped on this guy. We want to have nothing to do with you. We're out. Here's some money. You stay quiet. We'll pay you, but we want to get out of here. The only thing that the timing's kind of crazy is January 2024, they settle. 2 months later, remember what we're sitting there doing and minding our own business? And you hear, March of 2024, the feds are raiding Diddy's Miami home and his LA home. For what?
Even Joe Rogan couldn't stay silent. On his podcast, he echoed the growing suspicion that powerful forces may be pulling strings from behind the scenes. Rogan drew a chilling comparison to the Epstein case, reminding his audience how even district attorneys were caught covering up key evidence to protect the elite.
Had conversations with people about it, and it's like, Jesus, like just trying to get the documents, like when they're trying to get the Epstein files, like they're the state of New York. One of the district attorneys was hiding documents that have forced them to get documents. I think there's so many fucking powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied.
Joe Rogan suggested that something much deeper could be at play. He speculated that Diddy's infamous parties might have been far more than just celebrity hangouts. According to Rogan, there's a strong possibility that some extremely powerful and influential individuals were regular attendees at those gatherings. Now, as the trial gains momentum, the fear isn't just about Diddy going down. It's about who else might be exposed along the way.
Air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy parties? Have you been paying attention to the trial?
Oh, yeah.
Trials. Wild.
Rogan didn't hold back. He speculated that if things keep spiraling the way they are, Diddy could very well end up spending the rest of his life behind bars. But then came the twist. Rogan and his guest warned that this case could end up following the same chilling trajectory as the Epstein saga. Despite explosive allegations of child trafficking and elite involvement, Epstein's case never truly brought justice. None of the major players were ever held accountable. Rogan posed the uncomfortable question: is Diddy's case headed down that same path? Big headlines, shocking accusations, and then silence.
Diddy's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. I think he's probably going to get
Think he's
hit up.
insane, though?
I don't know. I don't even think it matters. I mean, it's a lot of it is.
But then it's just another
There's-
Epstein.
there's
It's another
murder
Ghislaine
cases.
Maxwell, where
there's
somebody gets
murder
indicted and
cases.
nobody else. Indicted for trafficking kids to
right
no
to,
one.
to no.
Joe even raised the possibility that Diddy might not have been the mastermind at all. He questioned how one man alone could have orchestrated such an elaborate system, getting celebrities drugged, throwing outrageous parties, and staging what some have called freak-offs. Rogan argued that the scale, the secrecy, and the access required for something like this point to a much larger operation. Maybe Diddy wasn't just the ringleader. Maybe he was working with others, or worse, being controlled by someone even more powerful.
Crazy. Now, if that's not an intelligence agency operation, it's just an evil super genius who figures out how to compromise everybody by providing this crazy freak-off party. Everybody's got to put their phones away. Okay, we're going to put our phone away. No one's going to know anything. Yeah, I mean, he's going to get cameras everywhere. It's just one guy doing that. What a diabolical human being.
Yeah.
He seems pretty diabolical.
He's probably working with somebody. Or for somebody.
Maybe.
And maybe he just got too far out there.
Some of the came out in the trial, though, like he's forcing his girlfriend to have sex with prostitutes while he was sitting there jacking off with a bandana on. She'd rub the jizz on his nipples. Like, what are we even talking about?
Joe Rogan took the conversation to an even darker level, suggesting that Diddy's infamous parties may have been part of something far more sinister than anyone imagined. He proposed that these gatherings could have been a carefully crafted system of control. Get celebrities in a room, expose them to chaos, and say things like, "Even Bill Clinton's been here." Normalize the madness. Then, with drugs, pressure, and manipulation, push them past the line. Once compromised, record everything, use that footage as leverage. According to Rogan, this wasn't just Diddy's playground. It may have been a calculated setup designed to own people, ensuring they could be controlled indefinitely.
Well, it would be a
'Cause he had the
great way
juice
to,
on a lot of
compromise celebrities. Yeah.
Yep.
And get them to say whatever you want them to do, get them to do whatever projects you'd like them to do. And, you know, if you're a bunch of other celebrities are there, you're like, oh, look, Bill Clinton's here. This is fine.
Yeah.
This is cool. Look at this. Like, Brad Pitt's here. Well, this is cool. You don't even think there's anything wrong with being there. Meanwhile, you're getting drugged up and filmed. And then they're passing out punch. Have some punch, Aaron. And you have some punch, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm feeling really good. I just feel amazing. You're all mollied up. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Probably a combination of things they give you.
And it's all being filmed.
While several celebrities have hinted at a more powerful force pulling the strings behind Diddy, the trial itself has revealed deeply disturbing details. One witness, a man who identified himself as a sex worker, delivered jaw-dropping testimony on the stand. He claimed to have been hired multiple times by Sean Diddy Combs, but what he described went far beyond anything the public expected. According to his statement, he was repeatedly instructed to engage in sexual acts with Diddy's then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, while Diddy watched from the shadows. The courtroom was stunned.
Heard from a man who described himself as managing a male review show from 2012 to 2013. Says his boss called him to go to a hotel in Manhattan where he met Cassie Ventura at the door. He says she was dressed in a red wig, red lingerie, and essentially gave him $4,000 with the intent that he was going to have sex with her. He also noted that Sean Combs, he said that first encounter was off to the side and watched Cassie Ventura and this male review show manager have sex and masturbated as it was happening.
The witness didn't stop there. He explained that these encounters weren't isolated incidents. They would sometimes last anywhere from 1 to 10 hours. What made the revelations even more disturbing was his claim that Diddy often recorded the acts himself, using either his phone or a camcorder. These weren't just moments of private obsession. They were documented. The revelation sent shockwaves through the courtroom, leaving even veteran legal professionals visibly shaken.
Talked about several instances where he would have sex with Cassie Ventura and that Sean Combs would be off in the corner watching. He said sometimes these meetings would last anywhere from an hour to 10 hours, and even said that Sean Combs recorded some of this on his cell phone or a camcorder. The beginning of opening statements, though, really focused on what this case is about, according to the prosecution, which is sex trafficking and racketeering, saying that Sean Combs led a criminal enterprise so that he could partake in sexual acts with people based on coercion and bribery, kidnapping, etc.
Amidst the intense courtroom drama, new names suddenly entered the spotlight. Names that added a surprising twist to an already tangled story. The defense brought up Kid Cudi and Michael B. Jordan, suggesting that Cassie may have had personal or romantic connections with them. According to the defense, these alleged relationships may have sparked deep jealousy in Diddy, adding more fuel to the already chaotic and toxic situation.
Yesterday, Andy, about other celebrities and if other names were going to be brought into this. Well, yeah, we heard today about Kid Cudi and jealousy issues with Kid Cudi and Cassie being together and hooking up. We heard about Michael B. Jordan and Cassie possibly having a relationship that angered Diddy. So, again, there was these themes of distrust and of cheating in the relationship that seemed to go both ways.
Then, the defense doubled down, focusing specifically on Cass's alleged affair with Kid Cudi. They pointed to one particular freak-off session as a critical turning point in the story. According to their narrative, it was during this event that Diddy discovered Cass's intimate involvement with Cudi. That moment, they argued, shattered the illusion of control Diddy believed he had. Fueled by jealousy and betrayal, the defense claimed Diddy snapped, triggering a violent confrontation between him and Cassie. What followed, they suggested, was not just a fight, but a breakdown that spiraled into something far more dangerous.
Another point that's been important is this relationship with a man by the name of Kid Cudi, in which Cassie, according to the testimony, was taking part in one of these freak-offs when Sean Combs found out that she was, quote unquote, cheating on him with this man you're looking at right here, Kid Cudi. She was in one of those freak-offs, and then Sean got a hold of her phone and then realized that they had been having a relationship together, and she said that that did not go over very well, to say the least. So one of the other things that defense counsel has been saying back and forth with Cassie, when Cassie is responding with things like, I can't recall, it's a long time ago, at one point defense counsel said, yeah, it was a long time ago, and it sounds like you were doing a lot of drugs.
David James, Diddy's former assistant, also took the stand, and his testimony left the courtroom in stunned silence. Fighting back emotion, David gave the world a rare look at what it was really like behind the scenes working for one of the most powerful figures in the music industry. He recalled that on his very first day, human resources didn't sugarcoat a thing. They told him flat out, this is Diddy's kingdom. We're all here to serve him. It wasn't just a warning, it was a declaration of how things worked in Diddy's world. From that moment on, David said, he understood he had stepped into a reality ruled by control and fear, and it only got darker from there. David went on to describe a deeply disturbing environment of manipulation and domination. He recounted quiet moments where he tried to pull Cassie aside, urging her to escape the toxic life she was trapped in. But she couldn't. According to David, Diddy controlled every aspect of her world, her career, her finances, even her home. It wasn't just emotional manipulation, it was complete domination. Cassie, he said, wasn't simply in a bad relationship. She was caught in a system where leaving wasn't just hard, it felt impossible.
He also testified about an exchange he had with Ventura in which he talked to her about leaving this chaotic, crazy lifestyle, and Ventura told him, James testified, that she couldn't leave because Combs was in charge of her career and her money and her apartment, and so she couldn't leave. He'll be back on the witness stand tomorrow. It was interesting, when he was leaving the courtroom, he looked over at Combs, he nodded at him, and Combs nodded back toward him. This testimony clearly not helpful for Combs' defense.
David James also testified about a personal exchange he had with Cassie Ventura. He recalled trying to talk her into leaving the chaotic, dangerous world she was caught in. But her response was heartbreaking. According to James, Cassie told him she couldn't leave because Sean Diddy Combs controlled everything: her career, her finances, and even the apartment she lived in. She was trapped. David is expected to return to the stand tomorrow. But one moment from today stood out: a quiet, wordless exchange. As James left the courtroom, he looked over at Combs. He nodded. Combs nodded back. This testimony has clearly done no favors for Combs' defense.
Testifying that exactly what she talked about in her civil suit, in addition to some other things, that they were in a house in LA in 2009. Diddy beat Cassie because Cassie wasn't finished allegedly making his food on time, and the next day he came in the room to talk to her and her band member, and he basically told them, allegedly that he told them, don't say anything. What y'all saw up there was passion, and when people say stuff about things like this about me, they end up missing. Mm-hmm. That is what Dawn is alleging. So the government is like, this is definitely relevant because it'll show that, number one, he was conscious of guilt, conscious of what we're trying to prove, is that he knows what he's doing, but he allegedly makes people feel scared so that they will just continue to let him do what he wants to do.
Then came an even more chilling revelation. Dawn Richards, a former member of one of Diddy's music groups, stepped forward with allegations that shook the courtroom to its core. Taking the stand, she recounted a disturbing moment that's haunted her for years. According to Dawn, while they were all at Diddy's house, he approached her directly, his tone serious, his warning unmistakable. He told her not to speak about what he was doing to Cassie. Then came the threat. Dawn claimed Diddy told her, people who go against me go missing.
But then it turned out that victim 3, unknown, we don't know who it is, but victim 3 apparently is missing. Just a few weeks ago, victim 3 came forward, or didn't come forward, but said that they were willing to testify in the trial. And though we don't know who it is, it obviously was important to the case because they were going to put victim 3 on the stand. And then just before this all came together and before Diddy took the stand, victim 3 apparently was out of communication and we do not know where they are. My thought immediately went to the girl Allie that is sharing all the salacious stuff. I went and looked her up and she's still posting on TikTok as not her. So I don't know what to make of it. I don't know who victim 3 is. I'm sure we can all come up with some crazy conspiracy theories about what's going on there. Diddy's side is hoping for a mistrial just because they don't have one of their witnesses. That is extremely unlikely, but it is possibly going to cause some delays and it might actually impact the ability to prosecute Diddy. I presume that Diddy is pulling out all the stops, as we've heard reportings of private investigators looking into people and people being pressured or influenced by his family members.
Dawn Richards' chilling claim that people who go against him go missing now carries a horrifying new weight. Investigative journalist Ian Carroll has reported a deeply disturbing development. The third alleged victim, another woman who voluntarily came forward to testify against Diddy, has mysteriously vanished. Her identity had been kept confidential for her protection. But now, according to Carroll, she has completely disappeared. No contact, no updates, no trace, and the timing couldn't be more terrifying.